Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewis King, Down the Rabbit Hole, a journey with my mother who had dementia. Today I'm going to cover several topics of how you can deal with your loved one who is suffering from dementia. And some of these things will work at different stages. Just depends on what stage your loved one's in, what kind of relationship you have with your loved one before and now, because they're not the same person. Parts of them are, but as dementia takes over, they change. Just be prepared for that one. So, first of all, if you need to seek help, I don't care if it's from your church, good friends, and I mean good friends, friends that will listen. Some friends will listen and they get tired of you talking to them about it. So if you have to get on a Facebook group, you have to look at YouTube videos, which I greatly appreciate, by the way. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring the bell notification for when my next video comes up. But yes, there's lots of organizations out there that will help you. And I know you have your hands full, but do your best. Maybe you have to think outside the box. But there is help out there, believe me. And then another one is you have to keep a perspective of what is going on with your loved one. Yes, they're not the same person, but educate yourself on the disease, the drugs they're taking, how they're acting, how they're changing. Sit down, write a journal. By the way, I'm a little bit behind on mine, so I'm going to have to work on that. So you'll have to excuse me. But yes, write your feelings down. It doesn't matter. They can be hateful. Say what you feel in your journal. It can be ugly. It can be nasty. You can just let it all out. You have to have an outlet to let it out. Trust me. Or you'll be in a nursing home. For they will. I think in my mother's case, it was more the mental strain of taking care of her up until the end when it got too physical and I couldn't. But I was always afraid she was going to fall, which she did several times. I was always afraid she wasn't eating enough. She wasn't drinking enough. She was sleeping too much. She was driving me nuts with too many questions. But that I educated myself on and learned that that was part of dementia. Her brain was changing. Period. And if they get ugly to you, which some of them have, fortunately, Mother never did. But I know that some of you have loved ones that are going to lash out, going to be ugly, going to say horrible things. But if they were saying horrible things in the past, well, then they may not be a very nice person. But if they start saying horrible things, just remember, it's those brain cells that are just not functioning. They're just dropping dead right, left, and center. And mom, grandmother, grandfather, husband, wife, whoever, they're just wired to say something ugly all at once. Now, if they hit you, that's a different story. And I know you're not going to agree with me on this one, but if somebody smacks you a good one, I would call the police. I would make a report and not have them dragged off to jail unless they reached for a knife and stabbed me a good one. But other than that, no. But the police should be informed. There should be some kind of a social worker that comes to check to see if you're okay. I mean, if it was a one-time thing, well, all right. But if they keep popping you a good one, then no, don't put up with that. My mother'd pop us a good one when we were kids. She'd grab a hold of us and just slap the mess right out of us. Yep. Then she'd tell us to go to our room, and then when our father came home, he used to take his belt out and whop us on the bottom. One time, my dumbass brother, my dad said, go get 2 switches. So I went outside and got a dry one. My brother got one that was green. So, of course, the dry one broke. The green one didn't. Once my father finished whipping our bottoms, we went outside. I grabbed that green switch and I chased my brother all over the yard, telling him, never ever use a green switch, idiot. But still, we were raised in different times. You don't do that to children these days. Probably should, but you don't. Let's see. Try to use humor whenever possible. And if you watched my videos, you know that I have a sense of humor. I have stories to tell. I have a way to make people laugh sometimes. And you just have to sort of realize that sometimes they do something funny. I mean, I was here at the house in the kitchen cooking. 5 o'clock news is on. Mother's sitting in her chair watching news. She's got her hearing aids in. They're working. Got the volume turned up so I can hear it in the kitchen. And they're talking, of course, about COVID. So next thing you know, I look over at Mother in her chair, and she has her mask completely covering her entire face. And I just burst out laughing. I thought, what the is she doing? So I go over there and I said, Mother, what you doing? Oh, I don't want to get what they've got. I said, Mother, that's COVID. You've had a shot. And that's on television. It's not going to come through the TV. So you can take your mask off. So she kind of slowly pulls it down and she looks at me and she's like, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. So she took her mask off. But that was kind of a funny moment. I mean, you know. And there were times when you would try to get Mother to take a shower, which became more and more increasingly difficult, to be honest. But it did get done. But one day, I'm sitting here looking at the computer, and here she comes with her walker, naked. Got a fresh diaper laid up on her rollator, got fresh clothes out. She goes, well, come on. She walks past me. I was like, oh, guess we're getting a shower today. Sure enough, I helped her in there. I have a shower chair. She would sit down. I would scrub her back, wash her hair. She'd take care of all the rest of the bits. Make sure she stood up and cleaned wherever. And then I got warm water, or how she liked it, was basically tepid, but rinse her off, then get a towel, dry her back, dry her hair, help her out, sit her on a chair with a towel on it, which, by the way, works very well because it dries their bottom some and their back. And then I would actually get the blow dryer out, and I would blow dry her hair, and then I would start to blow dry water off her body with the warm air, which she liked. Now, it didn't bother me that mother was in the altogether. Bothered my brother. He came over one time and mother was ready for a shower and I was in there and he says, uh, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to get in the shower with mother. I have a very big shower. I made it big. So it's big enough for 3 people. So he says, well, afterwards, he says, well, you could just do this. I can't do this. So he just walked out of the room. I said, okay, fine. So after we were all done and mother was all lotioned up, she had such dry skin for some reason. I mean, she was just dried out. So I bought some really good cream and I lotioned her up before we put clean clothes on. And a fresh diaper, of course. And then she just toddled on back to her chair and said she wanted a cup of coffee and promptly fell asleep. But my brother was like, I don't know how you can do that. I said, well, you see your wife naked. Your mother wiped your butt when you were a baby. So what's the difference? Besides, I've been trying to get her to take a fucking shower for 3 days. So shut up. And then make sure that whoever is medically helping you, and believe me, sometimes that's difficult, God knows. Sit on hold for 100 years before you ever talk to anybody. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Whatever happened to the days when somebody picked up the phone and said hello? I think I'd fall over dead now if somebody did that. But yes, make sure that you know what medications your loved one's on. Because sometimes it's too much. Found out I was giving mother too much blood pressure medicine. That's why she was sleeping too damn much. So we backed that off. That helped some. Yes, she did take sleeping pills at night, which was basically over the counter from Kroger. And her other couple of pills. But, I had to read up on everything. And I questioned everything. Now, hospice was fantastic. And if you have the opportunity, call their butts in as soon as possible. I talked to the doctor's nurse. Told her what was going on. Of course, I had to leave a message at first, but, then she phoned back about a week later. Then I talked to her, and she said, okay. So next thing you know, hospice is phoning, and they're coming in and evaluating mother. And then, yes, she's a good candidate for our services. So I was like, okay. So, yeah. Hospice was fantastic. And I hope that you're lucky enough to have them in your life. Some of these companies that are like, oh, yes, we'll take care of your mother. Well, I tried to call some of those, and they all wanted a minimum of so many hours a week. Well, I was like, I only want somebody to come twice a week to give my mom a shower. That's it. I don't need anybody to cook. I don't need anybody to clean. I can do all that. Now, okay, if it's a 2-hour minimum, fine. You give mother a shower, and then you can change sheets on the bed or something. But yeah, And they were like, oh, no, sorry, Mr. King. But that's not the way it works. We have to have so many hours to take care of whoever. And then, of course, they wanted their fee on top of that. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous. These people are making a fortune. Then I looked into memory care. Well, guess what? I thought the room was furnished. Wrong. Not. $4,750 a month for an empty room. Locked in a section of a regular nursing home / assisted living. where you had to give identification and punch in a 4-pin number before you could even be let in. And there weren't that many aides in there, and I went on a Monday. So if weren't that many aides there during the week, you can imagine what nighttime and weekends are like. Nothing. So if you have somebody that's in assisted living, nursing home, or memory care, you better be on their butts. Just don't bung them in there and just forget about them. You may want to, but don't. The more assertive you are, the better care they'll get if they're in an establishment such as those. Smile, love on them, squeeze their hands. If they're in the mood to talk, listen. It doesn't matter if they're talking about something that happened 40 years ago. You might learn something new about them. Mother would talk about the past, and sometimes I'd learn something new. Sometimes I wouldn't. But, yeah, talk to them. And then, of course, we had the good old redirect, which is basically changing the subject. You know, they keep going back to the same subject. Well, you just have to keep working at it. Sorry. That's all I can say. Get down to their level. If they're sitting in a chair, don't stand above them and talk to them. Kneel down, bring another chair, sit beside them, then talk. It's easier that way. And also be a good listener. Sometimes they just ramble on. They don't expect you to sort of hop into the conversation that they're having with themselves. Hell, we all talk to ourselves sometimes. So, just be a good listener. And, finally, just tell them that they're loved, that they're safe, that they're respected, and you both are doing great. May not be the truth, but you can still tell them that you're doing it there. She or he or them are doing great. Well, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the end of my video for today. I hope everybody's well, getting rest, and I will see you later. Bye for now.